Hi everybody, this is Bridgette Raes and I'm back with another stylish tip for you. Before we get into it, you know it's time for What is Bridgette Knitting? Oh, what am I knitting? So I'm actually still knitting that that cable sweater I showed you in another video. That's going to take a really long... My Siri just spoke to me. Shh. So that's going to take a long time and I haven't gotten that far, so I didn't want to bore you with no progress. So I decided that I would actually show you something that I've already knit and I'm wearing. This is a scarf that I knit. It is by Locatelli, also the designer of the pattern I am working on currently, that cable sweater. This is an extremely popular project for knitters. It's called the Suburban wrap. It's a large scarf with lots of different sections. You can see it all here and each section, and there's a lot of lace, which is not something that the newbie knitter should take on. It can be a little tricky, but you know, goes with my outfit and I thought I would share it. It's called the Suburban wrap by Locatelli. I don't remember whose yarn I used, unfortunately, but it's a finger weight yarn. If I remember and I can look it up, I will put links to the yarn in the description box below. But now to get to why you are all here for an answer to a stylish question. So I have a question from Brianna, and she asked me, is it shallow to like fashion? I really love shopping style and clothes. I feel like my very intellectual coworkers who are very involved in social justice work and keeping up on current events look down at me. It's not that current issues aren't interesting to me. I also care about what I wear. Does it have to be one or the other? Is the enjoyment of fashion shallow? What a great question. I actually really relate to this question. I've definitely had people who I've told what I do, and I get a sense that they're looking down at me a little bit, or they think, oh, well, you know, she must be an idiot, or she must not be that bright, or she must, you know, be vapid and shallow, like all of those things that you're describing. On the other side of it, I get people who know I work in fashion, and then they assume that I'm one of those people who like lives, eats, breathes, drinks fashion. And I don't. And I always explain to these people, do like accountants do tax returns on the weekend for fun? Like, this is my work. I'm a complex and complete and well-rounded individual. This isn't all I'm into. I think that having an interest in fashion gets a really bad rap. But do you know who I think is to blame for that? Fashion. Fashion is to blame for why fashion gets a bad rap. Fashion markets itself in this really vapid way, and it assumes that people who are interested in it are self-obsessed. And that's not true. Look, everybody wants to look good. I have not met one person out there who wants to leave the house looking bad. The fact that fashion sort of markets so narrowly to people who are shallow, self-absorbed, self-obsessed, not that intelligent, is really, it's their own fault, right? So I blame fashion for how fashion's marketed, and I think they make a big mistake. The way I see it, it's kind of like a spectrum. And the other thing to keep in mind is that fashion itself is incredibly neutral. It's just clothes, right? It's like anything else. You know, we could say that social media is good or social media is bad, but social media itself is rather neutral. It's how we engage with social media that makes it bad or unhealthy or good or happy, right? So fashion's the same way. And that's what I mean by a spectrum. One end of the spectrum, you have like fashion obsessed, self-absorbed, obsessed with like the current trends, like to the point of that's all you think about, having to look a certain way, having to wear the right things, all of that stuff that is at one end. And then at the other end of the spectrum, you have like no interest in fashion at all. Where you want to live is in the middle as a well-rounded, complete person who has an interest in fashion. Maybe you vacillate a little every once in a while and you get really obsessed with something and then maybe you have little interest in it, but it's not the only thing that defines you. So is it shallow to like fashion? Well, yes and no, right? It all depends on where you wind up on that spectrum. And as far as your coworkers are concerned, their judgment of you, that's their problem, not yours. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope, Brianna, this answer to your question helped you. Be sure to subscribe to my videos. I keep doing that, but it's actually on this side. Just hit the subscribe button down there so you can stay up to date, current and trendy with all the latest videos. Be sure to follow me on social media at Bridgette Raes on all channels. And also check out my Facebook group. You can click the link below for more information. And I look forward to chatting with you soon.